Delighted to speak to Lucy Ward, who to be honest, I can't believe she's joined us, because you are the busiest woman in sport, aren't you? Simple as that. I mean, I can't believe you've got any time. You were in. I heard you in a referee's briefing or something before you came on. I don't even know what that is. What is it?
Well, basically, because Howard Webb's taken over leading the referees, he's shifting the curtain back so we can all see the Wizard of Oz and see what's going on. And it's really helpful because it explains the decisions that have been made. But obviously, it happens every sort of few weeks when something ridiculous happens at the weekend and they explain themselves. It's good, actually.
Do you know, we'll talk about your commentary as we go. But one of the things that strikes me as a co-commentator, you see, you know, when the commentator goes, "Oh, it's a goal," and you'll go, "Oh, it's a fantastic." But of course, VAR has changed all that, haven't you? You've almost got to. It's almost like learning a different kind of commentary. You almost have to second guess yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And then also in the gantry, we've got VAR in our ears, so we can hear what they're talking about when they're doing a check. But also we've got their cameras as well. So when something happens that's serious, whether it's a goal or whatever, obviously commentator Darren will do his bit, and I am looking at the replay, which is probably a few seconds behind, just to see whether I can see anything. So a lot of thought and concentration. Concentration is definitely the thing.
Do you enjoy it, first of all, on the co-commentary? Do you enjoy it?
I do. I mean, it's quite stressful, and I mean that as I'm very well aware that I'm one of the few women. Obviously, it's good that a lot of women are doing it. I'm fully aware that I'm one of the few women that have done it. I've been co-commentating since 2007, so I'm pretty experienced, but I'm fully aware that as a co-commentator, whether you're male or female, you've got 90 minutes where you can basically say the wrong thing by accident, or so it has been quite stressful, but I think I've relaxed into it in this season. But yeah, I mean, I've got a job that's talking about football and watching football, so it's the best job in the world. I
was about to say, don't tell anybody about that, they'll catch you on. Somebody will go, hang on, you can't get away with it forever. It is difficult because you're never going to please everybody, are you? Simple as that.
No, I think that, social media is an interesting one. And when I say interesting, it can be horrific at times. Obviously, I use Twitter quite a lot. I use Instagram. And every single game, I'll get somebody direct messaging me, telling me something ridiculously horrible. But I think that I've learned, and it's actually quite empowering to ignore what people are sort of saying. I always have this saying that I wouldn't take criticism from somebody I wouldn't go to advice for. So I listen to the people that I listen to. I listen to the people who are knowledgeable. I ask sort of people's advice, people who work in and has worked in the industry. And obviously, my partner's was a professional footballer and a manager and knows everything about football. So it is actually, I do have people I can go to, but I don't listen to somebody sort of sat at home and probably never played football in their lives telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about.
I must admit, I don't. I was on Twitter, and I've come off Twitter for that reason. It's maybe I'm just the kind of person you get lovely lots of people, but you get the two people who are battering you. Does that not affect you? Does it annoy you, or do you just can you blank it out?
It's weird, really, because it can actually, like quite. The nasty ones wait until the morning after when they obviously know that you're doing probably something, and like I might be walking the dogs or whatever, and then send something, and you just think, how sad are these people's lives that they've remembered something from the night before, or they've direct messaged a woman on social media or Twitter to tell her how rubbish she is, and that you sort of have to think that they're sad. But I'm a human being, so people saying nasty things is not very pleasant. But I think the good things outweigh any of the bad that I get.
Do you get more because you're a woman?
I get quite a lot of hassle about that I'm a box ticket, or I'm ticking a box being on the TV, even though like. My people who don't know about my history, obviously I played myself. I worked in a professional club from 1998 all the way through to 2015. my partner's, like I say, a professional footballer, football manager. So I have every single bit of experience that you need in football. So it's actually quite offensive to say that I shouldn't be there. But probably I think it gives people another leg up to sort of say, it's a female thing. However, I am my thought is that you have to be good enough. If I wasn't good enough, then I don't really deserve to be there, whether I'm male or female.
I have to laugh. Please forgive me. I have this vision of the two of you. Neil Redfern's your partner. The two of you sitting in armchairs in slippers, watching the game and discussing football all the time. It's like, can you shut up about football? Is that what it's like?
Well, you know what? It's actually not far away from the truth, because when we are watching football, I will ask Neil. He's a pro licensed coach, so he completely understands the game. His dad was a professional footballer before him, so he knows no different. So I will ask certain questions and he'll answer, or he will say, "Right, see that's what I mean by when I say." So yeah, we do, and it's always me that wants to watch the football, and he's always telling me it's not me. It's always Lucy that wants to watch. But yeah, we do have those sort of professional discussions every so often.
The former Man United player Brian McClair once said to me, when I finish my career, I'm going to go back and visit all the cities I've played in but never seen. What's it like with you? Do you get a chance when you're in Milan or Madrid? Do you get a chance to have a look round, or is it just work?
Yeah, I mean, it is very. I mean, I've been to Zurich, Vienna, Milan, Lyon, and literally seen airport, hotel, stadium. And
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I'm not having it.
It is. Like last week I was doing Dortmund, Chelsea, or whatever, the week before, and so I flew into Dusseldorf on the morning of the game. Got taken straight to the hotel, straight to the stadium, which is fabulous. And then my pickup time was 2:45 the next morning. So that's as much as Dortmund that I saw. But seeing the stadium is enough. And to be honest, when you work and you just get on with it, if you happen to get more time around the place, it's brilliant.
Okay, did you get time during the recent World Cup? I know you're out in Qatar. What kind of experience was that for you?
It was, it was really interesting. I don't know what I expected. I read a lot of things about, being a female out there, or being a Western female about there. And I didn't really see, I think we were all in the FIFA bubble. You didn't really see anything that you probably wasn't supposed to see. But, my impressions of it, absolutely no litter. Nobody really did anything wrong. There were no police apart from at the stadiums, just to make sure people were behaving themselves. And I do think that the lack of alcohol in the stadiums actually helped the environment and helped. You come out after the game and all the fans would be sort of singing with each other regardless of what had happened, and there wasn't really an edge to it. But there was, obviously fans from all over. But yeah, an interesting place to spend a month in.
Did you enjoy the football? And what was the best game you got the chance to cover?
Well, it was brilliant, really, because obviously I was working for the world feed. I was so the host broadcasters, everybody takes it who obviously not in England, take BBC and ITV. But the thing about it was, I thought, it's all right because nobody will hear me and I won't get any hassle. But then I realised that the local stage, so beIN Sports, played our comms on there. So all my peers who were out in Qatar were listening to my comms. So that was quite interesting. But yeah, in terms of games, I did the Argentina Saudi Arabia game where Saudi Arabia. So that was brilliant because the atmosphere obviously was brilliant, and then obviously they won, and I commentated on France, Mbappe, Portugal, and Ronaldo. Obviously Messi in Argentina. So honestly, it was a fabulous six. The football was brilliant.
It's interesting what you say. My peers were listening to me. Is there a bit about you during commentary, particularly when you're thinking what Jurgen Klopp's going to be thinking afterwards, or what are the other managers, what Mikel Arteta's going to think? Or do you have to block that out of your mind? Or even players, do you have to block that out of your mind?
Yeah, you do have to block that out, because if you start to worry about who's these people's opinions that I would actually take seriously as well, that they're professional people. So but I have a nice little story actually. When Roy Hodgson was I think it was his first game at Watford, and we did Burnley Watford last season, I think it was, and season before, and I asked the girl that was doing the interview beforehand to ask him what formation he was playing, because obviously it was his first team that he was picking. And he said, "Oh, who's asking?" So she said, "Oh, Lucy won." And he went, "Well, she's really good. She'll work it out," or something really
Brilliant.
like pleasant. And I just thought that is just that. I mean, not all of them, I'm sure will think that, but I try to sort of be as fair as possible. But as you know, Rob, everybody who's watching thinks that you're biased against their team. But I just try to sort of say it as I see it. And I think the thing is that it's actually quite a pressurized situation to do that. When things go, like, for instance, we did the Aston Villa Arsenal game the other Saturday, and it was a terrific game, and it was end to end. Arsenal needed to win really to stay in touch, and then all those goals at the end, and things going on, and it's sort of just maintaining that really high level of concentration. But honestly, it's brilliant that you're in and immersed in it. But yeah, I try not to think about what people who I respect would think about me. You've just got to do what you do.
It's a real buzz, isn't it?
Yes. That buzz is actually I mean, when I first started doing the Premier League and men's football, the stress of making sure I was doing things right overtook that. But now I've sort of settled into it. The buzz is absolutely unbelievable. And it's, being at a game and, going away and doing the European games and doing Dortmund, Chelsea. And that was incredible. And, last season I did into Liverpool at San Siro, and it was just crackers. It's probably the biggest game I've ever done, really, in the context of men's football. So yeah, it is a real buzz.
I know you're not going to answer this. Did you enjoy commentating with the best? Who are your faves? Because they're all going to be watching. Going, she didn't mention me. That's it. She finished.
Oh, do you know what?
But it's like having a strike partner, isn't it? You develop a relationship. I mean, I read your comments that when you rock up a game and sometimes you never worked with a commentator before, it takes a little bit of time adjusting when they're going to, it helps. It's like being a double centre half, isn't it? Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce know what they were doing before they were doing it. It's the same with co-commentary.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird you should say that, because over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, I've worked with more new commentators than I ever did before. So my original TV husband was Guy Mowbray, who I went to China with in 2007 for 5 weeks. And he's obviously like a really close friend of mine now. And then Steve Bauer, my second TV husband, who I worked with for years on various things, whether women's tournaments or WSL. Yeah. And now, obviously, I'm working with Darren Fletcher at BT Sport. He's obviously their main co-commentator, and I met him 40 minutes before kickoff of one of the games during lockdown, and obviously even the same difficult for him to sort of get a relationship with me. But I think we've got quite a good relationship now. We've done a lot of games together, whether it's Premier League or Europe, and I enjoy working with all of those. And obviously, there's too many to mention because, like you say, I'll probably forget. But in terms of recent, and Adam Summerton as well on the Europa League that I work with. So but you go everywhere, and you go to every game, and there's always somebody that you know really well.
How big was the Lionesses' success? I mean, we've been doing interviews. We were lucky enough to interview Lucy Bronze live. She was absolutely fantastic the other week. I should know this. I guess you're going to be at the World Cup. I just think not only for women's football, but just football in general. It's been a massive spark, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it just meant the world, because obviously I started playing in a women's team when I was 12. The next eldest was sort of 19, 20 years old, so they were adults, because they didn't have girls' teams. And then for the years after that, I was just expecting women's football to break through. And then obviously I finished playing it, and it had sort of gone nearly sort of semi-pro. But now, but these girls, the best thing about these girls, other than how good they are, is that they recognise the shoulders of the people whose shoulders they stand on. The people that came before that did it while they had other jobs, full-time jobs, and it's just, honestly, it was really interesting, because the first thing I did was cry, and I didn't expect it when they won, because it was just like the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen.
I don't know if you've seen this morning, Jill Scott's got an academy job at Manchester City which is fantastic. I mean, it'll make news. When are we going to see the first female manager?
Do you know what? It's interesting you say that, because obviously the top female managers, you look at the likes of Serena Wiegman, Emma Hayes in this country have obviously proved that they can win things. I'm not sure that men's football is ready for that. First one will be difficult, because you'll probably get judged as a woman on sort of different values, and to be honest, it's all about managing people. And if you're good at managing people, then you would expect that those skills to be transferable. But because it hasn't happened, and because of the attention that'll be on it, I think it'll be really difficult for the first one. But why not? I mean, the thing is about the likes of Serena Wiegman is that she has proved that she's done something that no England manager has done for a long time, and if that doesn't show that she's got the capability to lead a group, then I don't know what doesn't.
Last one for you, because I know you are the busiest woman in sport. What did they sing for you as a player? I'm going, Lucy Wood, Lucy Wood. What was your song?
Well, it's interesting you should say, but when I was playing, I played in Lucas Radovich's testimonial at
You
Ellen
did
Road.
and scored.
Yeah, and scored. And the
was it a good one? I've been trying to search it. Is it on YouTube? I can't find it.
Yeah, so I'll have to find it for you. Yeah, it is. But they sang "We've Only Got 10 Men," which is really good, obviously, because they only had 10 men and me. And then they sang "There's Only One Robbie Savage," which I'm absolutely gutted about because of my ponytail. I think that's truly offensive.
Listen, lovely talking to you. Hopefully catch up with you again soon. Thanks for joining us today.
Brilliant. Cheers, Rob.
See ya.